Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I was just reading this very large book about Nagpra, or the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. In the early 70s, Maria Pearson was informed by her husband, who worked with the Iowa Department of Transportation, that though both white and Native American remains were found during railroad construction, the white bones were buried, while Native American bones were taken to a lab to be studied. Dressed in traditional clothes, Pearson went to Iowa Governor Robert Ray and told him to give her people's bones back. The controversy that followed led to the passage of the Iowa Burials Protection Act of 1976. After her success, Pearson lobbied national leaders, and with the help of other activists, Nagpra was passed in 1990.
The beginning of the 1800s saw a mass migration of Americans west and resulted in the mass looting of Native American sites. Items were removed and treated like artifacts of dead people and not people who currently lived in those lands. Courts failed to respond to the pleas of Native American groups concerning the loss of these objects.
Nagpra was enacted to address the rights of the lineal descendants of Native American tribes and Native Hawaiian organizations to cultural items such as human remains, funerary objects, sacred objects, and objects of cultural patronage. Nagpra provides a process for museums and federal agencies to return Native American cultural items to lineal descendants and affiliated Indian tribes or Hawaiian organizations.
These processes cover three provisions of Nagpra. Number one, planned excavations. Number two, inadvertent discoveries. And number three, existing collections.
Since the implementation of Nagpra, 50,518 individual human remains have been returned to lineal descendants and appropriate tribes, as well as 1,185,948 associated funeral objects, 200,019 956 unassociated funeral objects, 4,914 sacred objects, 8,118 objects of cultural patronage, and 1,624 objects that are both sacred and patrimonial.
This is Hans.
And this is Loretta, and this message has been approved by Group 2.
Remains were found during railroad construction. The white bones were taken to a lab to be studied. No, that's the opposite of what happened.
Loretta.
Loretta? Nice to meet you, Loretta. I'm Hans.
Hans.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I was just reading this very interesting book about Nagpra, or the Native American Graves Protection and